Metro Phoenix is big.
That's quite big. Impressive.
And when we think about the size of it and what is the biggest misconception of people who come here from different states and they're like, hey, I want to move to Phoenix and let's go visit, it is by far the most missed thing that people don't really understand, how big Phoenix is. And so in this video, I wanted to go, hey, how big is Phoenix? Let's map some stuff out and kind of see what the drive time is like. I can talk about the freeway system, how to get from point A to point B in the easiest way possible before you make your move. So you understand, because let's say you move to Phoenix, you know, you're coming from Chicago, you're moving here, your company relocates you to Chandler, and you found a good deal in Cave Creek for this house and you want to live in Cave Creek. Well, that's going to be a bit of a drive. So things like that we're going to talk about, we're going to look at, I'm going to share my screen, we're going to look at Google Maps. It's going to kind of go through it and hopefully this is helpful. So let's jump over to the screen right now. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here, this is Greater Metro Phoenix and the surrounding suburbs like Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa, Scottsdale, Glendale. You have Buckeye right here, you have Peoria over here, all different kinds of cool cities with different things that offer different types of amenities and price points for real estate and all different kinds of stuff. So what should be our first example? Let's find the airport. Airport is central right here, big gray box. Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, really good airport. It's actually one of my favorites that I've gone to quite a few, and it's one of my favorites. It's always very simple, very easy, very streamlined. Security's never a long wait. So I'm a big fan of the airport. Don't know how other people feel about it, but I've never had a problem. Big fan. Okay, let's talk about Phoenix real quick. In the city of Phoenix, specifically downtown, we could probably go a little north and south. This is considered South Phoenix right here. Laveen is up here, Tolleson. But South Phoenix is gonna be like your area, a little more older, a little more run down, cheaper price points. That's South Phoenix. Downtown Phoenix, our downtown environment is on the rise. Over the last 10, 15 years, they've really put an effort into creating an environment that people actually want to go visit downtown. Prior to that, it was kind of a wasteland. Not a lot of people were going to downtown Phoenix for the amenities, for the restaurants, for the nightlife, things of that nature. Over the last 10, 15 years, they've really put a lot of money in building that infrastructure up and allowing it to cater to people that kind of want that downtown vibe. Now we have the Phoenix Sun Stadium, that's down here. Ooh, the Deuce, that was the first thing that stood out, the Deuce. Fantastic cocktails made with fresh fruit. They grind it right in front of you, really cool spot. So downtown we have Chase Field here, we have the Sun Stadium over here, and this area right here, Van Buren, Washington, Jefferson, First Ave, Central Ave. This is kind of where a lot of people go if they're going downtown, is they stay here. There's a lot of cool restaurants and things that are really accessible to the stadiums and the light rail, which is right here. Or if you do live in a Mesa, you can take the light rail all the way down here, so you don't have to worry about driving, potentially parking a car overnight if you're trying to Uber home, things of that nature. So let's zoom out. So that's Phoenix. So some really popular spots where people they're coming in from out of state. We have some parts of town that are more popular than others, right? I mean, like any metropolitan area. What leads the pack really is going to be the Southeast Valley, which is Gilbert, Queen Creek, Santan Valley type of areas, the Southeast Valley, or the Northwest. We're talking about a Peoria right here, maybe a Buckeye for a first-time homebuyer price point. You're going to be in a little lower price point in the Buckeye area here, Goodyear. So you see this 101 freeway right here that kind of runs north and south, and then there's a big old bend and it goes all the way around. Anything along this 101 to the 10, it's going to be a little bit of a more popular area, if you will. Now this is where the Cardinal Stadium is, and they're doing a lot of really cool things in this area to build this area up to make it more appealing, because there has been such a large influx of real estate being built and a lot of migration, a lot of people coming here. They really needed to put an effort in building up the West Valley, is what we call that. If we zoom out, West Valley is going to be over here, East Valley is going to be over here. And so they're doing a lot of cool things over here in the West Valley. Now, traditionally, anybody in the West Valley wanted to live in the East Valley, and anyone in the East Valley didn't want to go to the West Valley, just because it was pretty desolate in the West Valley. There's not a lot of cool stuff to do out there, especially for a younger demographic. So what they've been doing is just pouring a ton of money. The infrastructure is getting really cool out there, building incredible stuff. And I'm actually kind of jealous, because I am an East Valley boy, and a lot of the new stuff that's really cool and modern, it's being built out west. Now, just to give you an example, so it takes over an hour and 6 minutes to get over there from where I'm at. So this is my community here. I'm an avid Cardinals fan, so I go to these games a lot, and it's just an ordeal every single time, right? And the parking and getting out. So you're probably in the car for an hour 30, hour and 45 to get from where I'm at to the Cardinal Stadium. If you're in the airport, which is very central, obviously, you're 35 minutes. And so that's just one example of, if you're in the East Valley and you want to go to the West Valley, what kind of drive you're taking. Now, you see this little sector of the 202 right here? I call this the greatest gift Arizona has ever given us. And it's pretty new, last couple years it opened. The reason why is, so traditionally, if I wanted to go out west, I would have to take the 60 to the 10. There's different ways of getting there, but let's call it right here, to the 10, and you just take the 10 all the way down, and you get there. So as you can see, right now it's 2:30. The 10 is very busy. There's a lot of traffic on the 10. But look at this little 202 here. So if I wanted to, I could take the 202 all the way around. This wouldn't be the case from where I'm at right now, but you could, if you're a little bit more south, take this 202 all the way around and you avoid half the traffic. And you're driving up against the mountains here. So this is a big mountain range. Here's the mountain range. And it's kind of a cool drive. There's nothing along this side of the freeway, so it's just a really neat, open, scenic view. And I just love this freeway so much. I love it. It's literally the greatest gift Arizona has ever given us, because going out west has always been more or less frustrating, especially for someone like me who can't stand traffic. I'm not really used to traffic. Traffic isn't really that horrible in Arizona. I know a lot of people come from California. They're like, oh, an hour drive isn't that big of a deal. Here to me, I'm a little biased. I was born and raised here, so, bear with me, okay? This 202 is amazing because I get to bypass all that traffic. So if you're thinking about going Southeast Valley here, so let's call it like a Queen Creek, right? So like Hastings Farms, big community. Montalina, really cool community. The Pecans, very, very cool community. You're gonna be in the higher price points there, a couple million to be in there, but one of the most unique communities in Arizona, if you ask me. Very, very unique in how you drive through it and the trees, and it doesn't feel like you're in Arizona. It's a really cool spot. So let's say you wanna go somewhere in Queen Creek to the Cardinal Stadium, right? So here's that 202 I told you about. Hour and 12 minutes to get there. Now, here's the troubling part about living in a Queen Creek or a Santan Valley. Queen Creek in Santan Valley, is gonna be freeway access. So if you are, let's just use this pin as an example, you gotta take surface streets for a good, probably 15-20 minutes from here to get to a freeway. If you're in Santan Valley, which is going to be more of your first time entry price point, or if you have a big family, you need a big house and you don't have a bunch of money to spend on it, Santan Valley is a great option. You're taking these surface streets all the way to the freeway, and that's half your drive time. That is the biggest problem with moving into the Southeast Valley, is just the amount of time you spend on the road just to get to a freeway. Once you're on the freeway, obviously, it's freeway. You're going quick, it's going fast, but just to get there is the hard part. And so if, let's say you're relocating, right, from Chicago and you work in downtown Phoenix, if you're out in Queen Creek, let's just use Chase Field as an example, you're a 51-minute drive to get to downtown Phoenix. Take all this to get to the 24, which is this little blip of freeway, to the 202, to the 60, to the 10, all the way down. So when you relocate, it's really important to know when you talk to like a realtor, which I am, by the way, born and raised here, been in real estate a long time, sold hundreds of homes and won a bunch of awards. Love doing it. But it's really important to know what part of town you need to be looking at based upon what's important to you. Now, some people, they don't really care so much about the drive. They want to come home to the house that they want. And so they're willing to go a little deeper into Santan Valley to get the 5-bedroom, 3,200 square foot home for $550,000, $600,000. And they're good driving an hour to get to downtown Phoenix. Other people, proximity is super, super important. And so when you have that first buyer consultation, it's really important to say, hey, like, what's really important to you? What are you really looking for? What do you want your payment to be around? What do you want your commute to be around? How do we mesh all this together to reach the end goal that we're all hoping to get to, right? And it's really, really confusing when you're coming from out of state and you don't understand how the road system works. The road system is the hardest part for new Arizonians to adopt. Even though our road system is probably the most elite in the country, here in Vegas, I'd say, because we're on a grid system, it's very easy to figure out. We really only have 4 freeways that you need to know: the 60, the 202, the 101, the 10, depending on what part of town you're in, obviously. 17, I guess that'd be 5, the 51, 6 freeways that you would need to know about. So it's very, very simple to figure out, but if you don't understand the infrastructure of how Phoenix works, it can be really stressful, especially if you're coming from out of state. And let's say you do move into an area and you're like, holy cow, this isn't what I expected. We need to avoid that, right? And it's really important to understand how Phoenix Metro kind of flows, what it looks like, how do the freeway systems work. So if I were to break down the freeway systems, we have the 202. It's a big old horseshoe basically, until they added this little blip here. But so the 202 is this right here, this outer shell of a freeway. Goes all the way around. This is called the Santan side. This is called the Red Mountain side. Now this 202 is connected to the 10 around, this is South Mountain right here. Really cool golf course over here, by the way. So that's the 202, big old horseshoe in the East Valley. The 60 splits it right down the middle and then carries on east. This is Gold Canyon, really cool part of town. This is the Superstition Mountain. Gold Canyon, it really kind of backs the mountain, and it's absolutely beautiful. beautiful. So the 60 is kind of the one that goes right down the middle in the East Valley. Then you have the 101. So the 101 goes north and south, connects in Chandler from the 202 and goes all the way north. And then we have the 10 that goes all the way to California. Definitely the most traffic is gonna be on the 10, close to downtown Phoenix. It is the freeway to get to basically the West Valley, right? And so there's gonna be a lot of trucks, just a lot of cars. You have the tunnel, all different kinds of things on the 10. The I-17 is how we get up north. Now, I want to do another video, and if you've watched this whole thing, I'd like your thoughts, but I really want to talk about some cities up north that are really cool, like Prescott, Flagstaff, Sedona, things like that, because one of my favorite parts about being in Phoenix is how close we are to various climates. So, you know, Flagstaff is 2.5 hours away. You can go snowboarding or skiing. Sedona, obviously beautiful. I'm sure you've seen it in movies. The Red Rocks, Prescott, just a really cool town with Whiskey Row, a lot of history there. Used to be the capital of Arizona. A lot of cool stuff. And so thinking about just doing like a mountain video, right? Or something like that where we talk about those cities. So I'd like your thoughts on that. But the 17 is how you get up north. The best freeway in the valley is going to be the 202. It was also in the movie The Kingdom. Jamie Foxx, if you ever saw that, they filmed on the 202. But it's going to be, there's not a lot of traffic ever on the 202. So for example, I came from North Scottsdale yesterday to get to my house. It's a 52-minute drive. I was like right here on the bend. Now I live where this ping is. So it would make sense for me to take this 101 all the way down to the 60 and straight shot it. But the 60 is jam-packed, and so what you do is you take the 101 to the 202 and come all the way around. It's a few more miles, but you're gonna save yourself a significant amount of time. The 202 is not that busy because it only services one side of the freeway, right? Meaning if you take the 60, you're servicing north and south of the 60. This 202, you're only servicing south of it. And so this part of the 202 is always wide open, man. It's the best way to take. Now, this Santan side, also a really good freeway, slightly busier though, because again, you're gonna be servicing both sides, north and south of this 202. The 10 is gonna be jam-packed right around central, like I said. This 303 freeway, absolutely desolate, not a lot going on there. They are starting to build it out, but there's not a ton of homes out there, so it's very, very quiet. And this 101 is gonna be busy as well. So 202 is my favorite freeway in the city. If I can take it, I'll take it. This 24, this little attachment right here, it's a pathetic little thing. It's brand new. They're building it out. It only used to be a mile long connecting this road, Ellsworth to 202. They've recently connected it all the way down to this road, which is Ironwood, and they're going to be building it out further to continue there. So real estate will be built around here, which is going to be a really cool thing. But if you have any questions about the Valley, please let me know. Again, I was born and raised here. I know all about it. If you're in town, want restaurant recommendations, anything of that nature, I am more than willing to shoot you a recommendation, or if you're looking for something to do. Again, I know the Valley like the back of my hand, so if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Contact info is going to be in the comments. If you are looking to purchase or sell in Arizona, I would love to interview for the job and just give me the opportunity to service you and show you what I got. If you do want to look at some houses, please just let me know. I'll send you the link to my website so you don't have to use a Zillow or a Realtor or any of those sites that are very inaccurate. So just let me know. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, follow, do all the things YouTubers say. Talk to you later.